Have you ever talked to someone who made you question your own reality? They didn't yell. They didn't insult. They just asked you questions. Calm, calculated questions that made you doubt what you felt, what you saw, and even who you are. That's the genius of manipulation. It hides behind curiosity. The modern manipulator doesn't raise their voice. They raise questions. Questions designed to make you defend yourself, doubt your memory, and slowly surrender your perception of reality to theirs. This is gaslighting disguised as dialogue, control masquerading as conversation, and the symptoms are everywhere. You apologize when you've done nothing wrong just to keep the peace. You second-guess your own memory after conversations with certain people. You feel confused, anxious, or somehow crazy after interactions that seemed outwardly normal. You walk on eggshells, filtering everything you say to avoid triggering conflict. The cost of this is not discomfort. The cost is the slow erosion of your sense of self. Years lost in a fog of self-doubt. Isolation from those who could help you see clearly, and eventually the quiet acceptance that perhaps you really are too sensitive, too emotional, or remembering it wrong. The ultimate price is becoming a stranger to yourself. But the ancients understood this war. They faced manipulators of the highest order, political rivals, scheming courtiers, emperors who could end your life with a word. And they developed something more powerful than any manipulation, a philosophical shield that no question, no accusation, no twisted word could penetrate. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, was born into slavery around 50 AD in Hierapolis, modern-day Turkey. He was owned by Epaphroditus, a wealthy freedman who had served Emperor Nero. Despite his status as property, Epictetus studied philosophy. He eventually gained freedom and founded his own school in Greece. But there is a story from his time as a slave that reveals everything about the Stoic mind. According to the account preserved by the author Celsus and quoted by the Christian writer Origen, while still enslaved, Epictetus was subjected to torture by his master. Epaphroditus began twisting Epictetus's leg, whether as punishment, a display of power, or simply cruel amusement. This was the reality of ancient slavery: complete vulnerability to another's whims, no legal protection, no recourse. What do you do when someone has absolute power over your body, when they can inflict pain with impunity? Most people would beg, scream, or rage helplessly. The natural response to such cruelty is panic. The desperate need to make it stop at any cost, including surrendering your dignity, your self-respect, your very sense of who you are. Epictetus did something extraordinary. As his master twisted his leg, Epictetus maintained complete composure. He did not beg. He did not rage. Instead, he calmly observed. "You are going to break it," his master continued. The leg broke, and Epictetus, without a trace of bitterness, simply said, "There, did I not tell you that it would break?" This was not passive acceptance or denial of pain. It was the ultimate demonstration of Stoic philosophy, the recognition that while Epaphroditus controlled Epictetus's body, he could never control Epictetus's mind, his judgment, or his character. The master had the power to break a leg, but not the power to break a man. Epictetus walked with a limp for the rest of his life, a permanent reminder of that day. But rather than becoming bitter or broken, he transformed that experience into the cornerstone of his teaching. The slave who couldn't control his own body became the teacher who showed emperors how to control their minds. He later wrote, "If someone handed your body over to a passerby, you would be annoyed. Aren't you ashamed that you hand over your mind to anyone around, for it to be upset and confused if the person insults you? The ancients left us more than philosophy. They left us a blueprint for dominance over the self. Subscribe to uncover what they knew. The foundation of this protection is what the Stoics called the Dichotomy of Control. It distinguishes between what is within your power, your judgments, your responses, your interpretations, and what is not, external events, other people's actions and opinions, your reputation. By focusing energy only on what you control and accepting what you cannot, you achieve psychological freedom. Manipulators succeed when you automatically accept their framing, but between stimulus, their question, and response, your reaction, lies a critical moment: assent. You must choose to agree with the impression before it affects you. Epictetus taught his students, "Impression, wait for me a little. Let me see what you are and what you represent." That pause is your power, the space where manipulation fails. As Epictetus declared, men are disturbed not by the things which happen, but by the opinions about the things. When a manipulator asks why you're so sensitive, the question is just words. The disturbance comes from your judgment that their opinion matters, that you must defend yourself, that their assessment has power over your self-worth. Change the judgment, and the manipulation loses its teeth. Let me show you exactly how this works with 7 questions manipulators use, and the Stoic response to each. The first question, why are you so sensitive? This invalidates your emotional response, making you doubt whether your feelings are legitimate. It shifts focus from their behavior to your reaction. But the Stoic understands that emotions require no external validation. Epictetus wrote, "It is not enough to be hit or insulted to be harmed. You must believe that you are being harmed. You decide if this question warrants a response at all." The second question, are you sure that's what happened? I remember it differently. This challenges your memory and perception of reality, but your memory is yours. The Stoic response, what I perceived, I perceived. Their alternative memory requires no acceptance from you. The third question, why can't you just let it go? This pressures you to abandon legitimate concerns, framing your pursuit of resolution as a character flaw. But resolution is within your control. Their timeline is not. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The first rule is to keep an untroubled spirit. The second is to look things in the face and know them for what they are. You address issues when you're ready, not when they're comfortable." The fourth question, don't you trust me? This weaponizes the concept of trust to silence legitimate questions. But trust is earned through consistency, not demanded through questions. Seneca wrote, "A person who starts being friends with you because it pays him will similarly cease to be friends because it pays him to do so." Trust your judgment about trustworthiness. The fifth question, why do you always make everything about you? This deflects from the actual issue, creates guilt for expressing needs, reverses victim and offender. But advocating for yourself is not selfishness. It is self-governance, which the Stoics considered essential. The manipulator's discomfort with your boundaries is their problem to manage, not yours. The sixth question, why are you trying to start a fight? This reframes legitimate discussion as aggression, puts you on defense, discourages future attempts to address issues. But seeking clarity is not combat. Your attempt at communication has been labeled. That label is their judgment, not yours to accept. The seventh question, Why would I lie to you? The tone is wounded, almost offended, as if the very idea of their dishonesty is absurd. But that's exactly the point. The question isn't meant to clear suspicion. It's meant to shame you for having it. What they're really saying is, prove your loyalty by ignoring your instincts. But honest people rarely need to declare their honesty. They simply live it. The Stoic watches patterns through time, because lies are temporary, but inconsistency is permanent. Your best weapon isn't confrontation, it's observation. Epictetus wrote, "The wise man never fears the truth. A liar fears truth because it strips them of control." Now consider the transformation. Picture someone who has internalized these principles. When hit with a manipulative question, they create a pause before responding. They use that space to ask themselves, is this question seeking information or seeking to destabilize me? If the latter, they owe no answer. The pause itself breaks the manipulator's rhythm and restores their control. Here is the Stoic Shield, a 3-step method to protect your mind in any manipulative encounter. Step 1. Observe without reacting. When someone says something that triggers doubt or guilt, pause. Don't explain. Don't defend. Simply notice what's happening in your body. The pause is your power. Step 2. Label the tactic. Silently name what they're doing. That's guilt tripping. That's gaslighting. Naming breaks the trance. It separates their chaos from your clarity. Step 3. Respond with silence or truth, not emotion. You don't owe an explanation to dishonesty. You owe alignment to your values. A simple, "I don't see it that way," is often enough to end the game. Before starting their day, especially if they'll interact with manipulative individuals, they spend 2 minutes visualizing potential questions they might face. For each one, they rehearse their non-reactive response. This removes surprise and the emotional hijack that comes with it. Marcus Aurelius practiced this every morning. He opened his meditations with this exact discipline. When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. They are like this because they can't tell good from evil. But I have seen the beauty of good and the ugliness of evil, and so none of them can hurt me. The man who practices this does not avoid difficult people. He expects them, he prepares for them. And when they arrive with their calculated questions, he feels no surprise, no emotional hijack, no destabilization, only the calm recognition that this too was anticipated. After a manipulative encounter, he takes 5 minutes to write 2 columns, what I control and what I don't control. The manipulator's questions, opinions, and behaviors go in the second column. His responses, his interpretation, and his next actions go in the first. He focuses energy exclusively on what he controls. This is not suppression of emotion. The Stoics distinguish between healthy emotions and destructive passions born from false judgments. The goal is emotional clarity, not emotional absence. There is one final practice that completes the fortress: the character question. When uncertain whether a question is manipulative, ask yourself, if I didn't respond to this at all, what would that say about my character? Often, nothing. You don't owe engagement with every question posed to you. The manipulator's expectation of response is their problem, not your obligation. Your partner says, "Why do you always have to bring up the past when you mention a broken promise?" The weak response is apologizing, dropping the subject, feeling guilty for having legitimate concerns. The Stoic response: I'm discussing this because it affects trust today, not because I enjoy the past. But if you can't discuss it, I understand, and I'll draw my own conclusions from that. A colleague undermines you in a meeting, then asks, "Can't you take a joke?" The weak response is laughing it off to avoid conflict, doubting whether you're too serious. The Stoic response, "Whether it was a joke is irrelevant to me. What's relevant is that it affected my professional standing, and I expect that won't happen again." You haven't debated intent, you've stated consequence. Their joke versus your seriousness is a false dichotomy you don't need to accept. 2,000 years ago, a slave had his leg broken by a man who owned him and emerged more free than his master ever was. Today, no one can own your body, but manipulation still tries to own your mind. The questions that destabilize you only work because you've been taught that you owe others an explanation for who you are. You don't. Your perception is yours. Your memory is yours. Your emotional responses are valid not because others approve of them, but because they're yours. The manipulator's greatest weapon is your belief that their question deserves an answer. Sometimes the most powerful response is no response at all, not from weakness, but from the unshakable knowledge that your inner citadel needs no defense, because no one but you has ever been able to enter it. They didn't yell, they didn't insult, they just asked you questions. But now you know, a question is just a question. It has no power until you believe you must answer it, defend against it, or prove yourself worthy of asking it back. The genius of manipulation only works on those who haven't discovered their freedom. And now, you have. The mirror does not lie, neither does this philosophy. Subscribe to Inner Imperium for more uncomfortable truths that forge stronger men. Share in the comments. Share in the comments. Whose question still echoes in your mind long after the conversation ended? And what would it cost you to finally stop answering it?